So I've got my Allen wrenches. Take this off, and I undo this Allen wrench. Screw right there, and then I also unbolt this. So basically I've unscrewed everything from the plate and taken that piece off, and now that piece can go back on, because of course this assembly here has to now attach to this one. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to disconnect it right here, and then I'll bring the video back up when we'll be switching this over to that side. So just to show you briefly, I've now disconnected that piece, and now I'm putting that arm back on. Okay, so now I'm going to undo the bolt here, the set bolt, and then change my operation around to fit on that side. So as you can see now, I've taken it off that side and moved it over here. But as you can see, it doesn't work for over here. There's no room for it. That's because this solenoid has to be turned around so it works the other way. So if I line it up like that, see, the solenoid is quite literally backwards. So what I have to do is unbolt the solenoid here and spin it around the other way so that this plunger is facing the other direction. So I'm going to do that right now. So just to quickly show you what I'm up to, I'm just unbolting it like that just right now, and then I'll remount it. So just to make sure we're all on the same page, what I'm doing is I'm taking that off, I'm flipping it over, and then I'm going to remount it this way. So now that I have that in place, I've rebolted it on. So now that when you put it on the plate, it actually faces the right direction. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take that little set screw right there, I'm going to bolt it into there, bolt it down, back down to the plate. Okay, so now that I have that mounted, that's not exactly the right place it has to be, but I've got it so that I can move it back and forth. So now, this, as you can see, this spring is directional. So if I hook this up like this, it would collapse. So I have to flip this spring over so that it works that way. Okay, so right now I am going to reverse this. So right now I've got it undone, and I'm quite literally flipping it right over and putting it back in and screwing that part back in. Now as well, now I've got it in there. See how it's different now? It's gone the other way so it won't collapse when it goes back and forth. Now I have to flip this guy so he is literally upside down going into the bottom of here. Okay, so I got that assembly together, and then screw that in. You don't have to do it on the pawl, you can take it off once you got it set in, and then use the Allen wrench, of course, to finish it off. Okay, so now that part's all together. So that locking, mechanically locking, that's what does that action against the ratcheting. So we got both of them, we've got a complete reversal now. Right? But again, we need to adjust this one. And in order to do that, we need to get our Delrin cam back onto the assembly. And you'll see the key stock. You got to line it up with the key, and it'll slide right on. Theoretically, of course. Now, again, when you're going down, because this thing goes in, you got to pull that out so that it goes all the way down. And then we'll pound that bad boy down. I'll finish cranking that in with that nut and bolt, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got that bolted down. Now, of course, this isn't hooked up to the hydraulic closer, so this is it's not going to go together this sweetly. So now we're together there. We got this mechanism back together, and now we have to set up this pawl. I'm trying to get a good angle so that you see it. So what you want to do is you want to set up this pawl just with enough pull, just so it clears. See how that part, it's tough to get this angle. See how it's just, that pawl is just clearing? See how it's just clearing like that? Right? And that way when you got the proper action on the solenoid, it'll do its locking bit. See what I mean? And when it's free, it spins. When it locks and engages, it goes right in. Okay? So now we found that little honey spot where that seam is. Now we can tighten that bolt down all the way.